And I think we are going. Yes. Okay. This looks good. All right. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Jay Tafone with the Office of Student Involvement. I'm thrilled to be here with all of you as we explore the Leeds Conference topic of the awakened self. Um, Before we have the pleasure of introducing you to your speaker for this session, I'd like to review a few housekeeping tips for this session. Number one, you're watching a recording, which means that your microphone and your camera are not enabled at this time. And guess what? Your microphone will remain muted for the rest of this session. Um, because this is a recording, there is no chat enabled for this presentation. Um, as such, we just ask that you take in all of this great information. And if you have questions or any follow-up that you would like to do, we'll make sure that you know how to reach out to our presenter by way of student involvement following this presentation. Um, Please know that Teams does have the ability to provide captioning. If you are interested in using this service, click More at the top of the navigation bar where you're going to see the three dots, then Language and Speech, turn on live captioning. If you are watching this via YouTube, you can also hit the little CC button and the closed captioning should appear in that way. All right, at this time, let me just advance our screen. Here we go. And on this screen, you can see the access and accommodations slide. Please note that if there are any barriers to your ability to engage with today's presentation, you can absolutely reach out to either the Office of Campus Accessibility, online accessibility, or the people team, depending on your student status or as a member of the faculty and staff. Finally, it is my great pleasure today to introduce you to Dr. Linda Ellington. I have been encouraged not to read the entire slide, as that's a little on the boring side, Dr. Ellington says. So, a few quick highlights. Dr. Ellington is a faculty member at SNHU. Um, she spent 23 years at IBM holding a ton of leadership and management positions. She's published extensively, as you can read there. And she absolutely devotes herself to volunteer and community service work, helping so many just amazing organizations. With that, I am going to go on mute and I am going to turn the microphone over to Dr. Linda Ellington with the Awakened Voice. Dr. Ellington, the floor is all yours. Please just let me know when you want me to click on to the next slide.
Okay, thank you. Click. Okay. Thank you all for sharing your time with us in this session. The call to action is a way to say, okay, if we're going to use our voice, we need to know what to do. We have to do something. It's kind of like when I say I love you, love is an action verb. So what do we do when we know and hear about this type of session? So one of the things that first thing we want to talk about is that there's a leader in every chair, whether you're a leader by title, a leader in your home by being a parent or even a sibling, or in your community. Leadership is in every chair. So the very first slide talks about whether we are a particular type of leader, and I've broken them down into leader A and leader B. And on the screen, you can see that leader A is one who values diversity of voices, right? Leader A encourages voices to be heard, all voices. They let go of limiting identity perceptions, right? They let go of that. And then they emphasize heart-centered practices. Leader B, on the other hand, uses their power of collective silencing, and they keep the battle for voice equality alive. So one of the things you want to ask yourself is, who are you? Which one of these leaders are you? And then once you go, okay, I'm this leader or that leader, I would probably ask you, how do you know? Because if you said, Dr. Ellington, what would I be as a leader, A or B? And I would probably say, okay, you're a B. I would tell you why. This is how you would know. And so this conversation from this slide is awesome to use at your work or even in the community, and just have a conversation based on this one slide. It will bring huge awareness to our voices and our value of diversity of voices. Next. Okay. Jay, can I ask you to click off that little X? Can you click off that little X at the top where it says recording transcription? Because I can't see the whole title at the top.
Dr. Ellington, you may need to click that off yourself
Got it.
because I
Got
think
it.
it's
I
on your own screen.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Technology is probably not my strength, not probably, technology is not my strength. So, okay, here's what we want to do. We want to talk about the echoes that are out there, right? And though when we hear echoes, it's of our own silencing. And so think about that for just a minute. And when we say, okay, what does that mean, right? Well, it means that it's easy for us to wear other people's faces rather than our own. And when we think about that, we need to feel comfortable wearing the face of our own authentic selves. Who are we? What is our face saying? And not wear someone else's because it's either easier, less scary, and just the way the world has been in your world. So, something for you to think about there. And then once we find the voices that silence us, because they're out there, and then the names that others use to define us, we're defined by other people all the time. And then the fears that lurk in the dark corners, they can become diminished. And once all that solves itself, once we realize what people have defined us by and the fears that we can diminish, then the purpose, then the surge of the purpose fills us up, right? Now we begin to awaken our voice. So, how do we do this? Remember, I said it's an action, right? We have to do something. And so, how do we do this? Click. Easy to do. An idea. Here's just one idea. You can. It's called the doodle revolution, and I use this a lot in a lot of my classes to get the voices heard. Everybody doodles. Everybody on this planet doodles. And so what you do is you just start from scratch to see, right, in color. Bring your world into technicolor. Bring your world to where it's not constrained by suffocating status quo. Know, be aware, KNOW, know that status quo is out there. Be aware of that, right? And then think about, okay, as I'm doodling, right? And there's no lines, there's no certain colors you have to use, right? Don't be limited by seeing grainy, washed out future that just kind of maybe seems depressing, right? Okay, doodling, get rid of that. Don't limit yourself by that. And then just make spontaneous marks to help yourself think. Think about those marks don't have to just be on paper. They can be through your voice. You can doodle through your voice, or you can doodle with a pen and a paper. Um, but I want to encourage everyone to doodle. And some people might laugh at you when you're doing it, or might, whatever. But doodle. I've done a lot of research on leaders. All great leaders doodled, right? Lots of times it was on napkins or on the tablecloth. So enjoy learning using this process to awaken your voice. Next. Okay, now once we've done that, right, we're going to reclaim our voice. We're not going to go shh anymore, right? Our silence is not yet unbroken. We have the fire of resilience. We can use our voices. We don't have to have shh. Uh, think about it. We might be more silent than we were built to be, but we're certainly not broken. And that's why when you think about awakening yourself or awakening voice, you're not broken. We just have to learn how to, use our voice as we get through the world, and we want to make a difference in this world, whatever your world is, right? So think about this. In the face of doubt, we all have doubt. In questioning our voice, we all question, what's our purpose? Why are we here? How do I use my voice? We need to create a global choir of transformation. And we can all do that together, or we can do it starting with just ourselves, right? We just have to have the courage to speak our truth. And one way we can begin doing that is we invite a friend to the transformation. If you just invite one friend to work on this type of resilience, to not remain quiet and to use our voice, uh, then that bouncing back and forth of a friend is more valuable than gold. So, how do we do this? Next. Here's a cute slide. Sometimes words are not needed, right? Uh, Pictures. Sometimes words are not needed. So here's an idea that I had. I found this to be a friend equation. So you can see at the top the little creatures. They brought ice cream and a selfie stick, and you go, wow, selfie stick with ice cream. Well, that's interesting. But then you look at the one on the bottom, you now know why, right? The little guy on the back on the left-hand side, they're eating their ice cream, as is the alligator on the right now, because they brought it together. They transformed what a selfie stick could be used for. Got to give those little animals credit there. Next. Okay, now what we want to think about is how do we plant the seeds of change? Because to use our voice, to awaken the self, we got to start planting those seeds so that those that are coming behind us don't have to experience the same that we're experiencing or have experienced. We leave footprints on this planet. Let's have our footprints leave great, great markings on the earth so those following behind us don't have to feel the pain or the silencing that we all felt. So how do we do that? We need to use our collective awakening, whether it's with a friend or with your department or community or your church or wherever. We need to bring the collective awakening up to the sunshine, right? And then listen to the world. Take time to just listen, right? Listen to what's waking up. Just listen, right? Quiet your inner voice and then just listen. And then once you've done that, okay, now illuminate the power of your voice. Uh, Show the world the sunshine that you have in your voice. Not that you're shouting, not that you're, raising your voice or anything. It's just that you're not silent, right? And you have such awesome things to say, and to help other people. And then what is really important, this is really important in the diversity of voices, is the power of who you are, the power of your identity, not what someone else has deemed you to be or defined you to be. It's your identity. So who am I? I'm a pretty important person walking this planet for however short time we're on this planet. Important because I'm human, right? So, what is the power of your identity? Put that into words. Write that down. Scratch that on a piece of paper, or type it into your iPhone, or just uh, say, okay, this is a poem. I like writing poetry. This is a poem for who I am. The words don't have to rhyme, but this is who I am. And then feel the joy as you see those words you wrote staring back at you. And that will give your voice another way to awaken. So, having said all this, how do we do this? Next. Okay. You can tell by now I like visuals and cartoons because they make me laugh. I use a lot of Calvin and Hobbes books to cartoons. Hopefully, y'all know who Calvin and Hobbes is. If not, find out who they are, because they have wonderful, absolute, stunning, great down to earth visuals and comedies that are just magic, right? And so what I want to recommend is that you be a coolness disruptor. I have labeled this alligator a coolness disruptor. So if you search inside yourself for the place beyond fear, look inside. You've now identified who you are. Look inside who you are and find the place beyond fear. Fear only cripples us. Fear shuts down our brain. Fear closes our heart, right? And then we can't walk what we're supposed to do on this planet. So, one of the cool things about this cartoon is you can see that. Look at all you cool, young, strong, impressive crocs. These are crocodiles, right? And then here comes, a crockety old guy, crocodile with his little walker. Sometimes I feel like this guy on certain mornings. And he's walking and he goes, "Mind if I join you?" And he gets right in the middle and he's part of that transformation and he calls himself the coolness disruptor. He's cool and he disrupted. So this cartoon, I have this on my refrigerator because I always want to be a coolness disruptor. Let the power of your thoughts become a safe space, okay, to experience the possibilities beyond your voice, because of your voice, is boundless. Your voice is boundless. It can be used anywhere, right? Outside you, inside you. It can be used anywhere. Become that safe space. Give yourself that grace. Give yourself that, okay, I'm going to give myself permission to have that safe space so that I know my voice is boundless. And then another key way that really is lots of fun, I have to tell you, my kids thought I was crazy, and I still continue to do this, and now they're grown adults and they want to commit me. So practice uttering out loud. Just talk out loud. Just practice uttering out loud. Doesn't have to make sense. Just talk out loud. I practice this with my two little dogs. They're thrilled that I'm talking and don't have a clue what I'm saying, but I'm uttering, right? And so practice that becomes part of your muscle memory of your voice. And once you get comfortable uttering out loud, and it becomes part of getting that voice and awakening the power of your voice. Don't be afraid not to do that. It's pretty cool stuff. Even if you just have to do it like I do, practice uttering out loud with two dogs. They're going to love you anyway. Okay. Next. Okay. Now we want to go on a quest. We want to go on an adventure, right? Life is an adventure. We want to go on the quest for rediscovery. When we use our voice, awaken our voice, be confident of who we know who we are. The fear is tucked away in a safe space over there somewhere. And so now we're on a discovery. So what we want to think about is we want to aspire to a new mission. What is that mission? Awaken my voice. I want to use my voice, right? That's a new mission. Push through the cynicism. You're going to have cynics all over the place, all over your life. It's just part of, the human planet existence. There are people who are going to be cynicists of what we do, what we say. Push through that, right? It's kind of just the noise on the back, right? So just push through it. And then celebrate a new momentum. When you say, "Oh my gosh, I said this and people listened," that's a momentum. Celebrate that. Take a minute, give yourself grace, and say, "Good job, Linda. Good job," right? And then go on to the next, right? The common experience we all share is our voices. We all share our voices. When we don't share our voices is when it becomes scary, stifled. We think we are less than, right? And so once we get through that and we know our voices are shared, you're part of that sharing. You're not outside that sharing, you're part of it. So when we think about the quest for rediscovery of who we are as our voice, using our voice, how are we going to do this? So how do we do this? Next. Okay. We're going to be a voice scientist. I do a lot of research. I do a lot of writing. I do narrative science work, which means I look at a lot of literature, right? I don't test it on any body or any animal, but I use it as a way to say, okay, I'm scientifically thinking this way. So be a voice of scientists, be a scientist who uses his voice. So here's how we do this. Ask questions. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Ask a question. I used to ask questions all the time. Drove everybody nuts. Okay, that's how I learned. Ask your questions. And then let others ask their questions. Don't shut down a question. Let people ask their question, even if it makes you uncomfortable. When I went to school at the University of Oxford, I asked the vice chancellor how they hired people. And he said those that ask the funniest, most outrageous questions are the ones that will be Nobel Prize winners, Nobel winners, right? And so those are the scientists. They don't have to be a scientist, but those are the people they hire, the ones that ask the most outrageous, funny, comprehensive questions. So ask questions and then learn to regulate emotions. There's a lot of research out there about, okay, emotional intelligence, all that kind of stuff around that. Regulate emotions. Like when someone says, oh, I'm going to pick on Jay here, who's recording this. Jay, be quiet. I hope Jay's not quiet, right? But Jay might get emotionally distraught and start to shrink back down into, where he's not using his voice. Okay, so regulate your emotions. When you ask someone to stop talking, you are going to regulate that person's emotions.
Linda,
And then you're
I
going to,
just started crying over here, and I'm
oh,
gonna go back on mute because I'm shrinking right now.
okay, okay, okay. You can't shrink. I haven't shrunk you yet. All right. So regulate your emotions. Now, do I know my unmet expectations? Do you? I know mine. I didn't used to. I didn't used to know what they were. Do you know your unmet expectations? What are they? Are they crazy? Are they nutty? Are they cool? Are they out there? Are they close? Just ask that question. And then cultivate well-being. There's a lot of work going on right now on wellness and belongingness and that era of what we're going through in life right now. So cultivate your well-being. What do I mean by that? Take care of yourself. That's all. Take care of yourself. Spiritually, mentally, physically, all of that is a package. You are a human being. You have all that in your human being package. Cultivate your well being, and you decide what is well being. Unless, life interferes and we get illnesses, we get diseases. But outside of that, cultivate who you are. Be well so that your voice can be healthy. And then, by golly, give yourself permission to express your thoughts and opinions. Give yourself permission to express your thoughts and opinions. They count, they matter. I always ask my students their opinions. And lots of times they'll go, no one really asked me my opinion. I say, well, then provide it anyway. Don't worry about someone not asking you. You have an opinion in the right way. Use your wonderful voice. Express your opinion. That's power. And as leaders, if you all are leaders, there's a leader in every chair, right? Ask people their opinion, ask people their thoughts. What would be so scary if we didn't do that? We might hear something we don't want to hear. So what? We'll deal with it, right? And so give yourself permission. Be a be a voice scientist. Okay. This also is on my refrigerator. I used to have my kids' drawings as they were in kindergarten on my refrigerator. Now I have all this crazy stuff. Okay, next. Okay. This is important. I mean, all of this is important, but I want you to see your voice. See your voice. Now, voice stands for valuable. You, me, Jay, everybody here and around us and outside there of our borders, everyone is valuable. Every human being is valuable somewhere, somehow, right? So see your voice, see your value. O is opportunity. We have opportunities presented to us, or we have to go find them, right? Uh, Often I had to go find them. So go find opportunities, explore, right? Be Detective Clouseau. He's in the Pink Panther movies. So go find some opportunities. And what's the worst that could happen? It's an opportunity you don't want to do. It's an opportunity maybe you do want to do, but at least you'll know. So the I is inclusivity. Involve everyone, no matter what they look like, who they look like, where they come from, all of that stuff. Include everyone that has the opportunity to hear your voice, and then for you to ask them to share their voice. Okay. The C is connection. Have fun with this. Connect with everything, whether it's people, right, or nature. I live on a lake with a bunch of geese, and they very connected to me because all they do is squawk, right? So I figure they're just connecting with me in their world, right? So connection, connect to the animals, connect to people. Don't lose the connection. And the connection is uh, where are we all together? I have a grandson who's stationed in South Africa, and I connect to him all the time, any way I can, somehow, because I like to hear his voice, and he shares his voice with me. And then last week, his commander came into the room we were talking in, and the commander started talking using his voice, right? So connect to strange places, just strange places, right? And then E, equality. See equality. See the equality. If you don't see it, let's go fix it, right? Let's go question why we don't see equality. Okay. Now, see your voice. Easy to say, but how do we do this? Next. Okay. We're going to sketch note, right? And so one of the ideas that I thought of is that we sketch note our voice. What does that mean? All right, Lynn, what are you talking about, right? So we're going to sketch note, and I gave you an example on the slide of what sketch noting looks like. It almost looks like doodling. You can kind of see a pattern here about how to use your voice, right? So a deep resonant voice fills the room. So that might be in bold letters or colorful orange circle that says over time over on the left, right? And so those will be bold colors. A deep resonant voice that rumbles like thunder, right? Look at everyone can do it, but why should I? That's the top left. That would be rolling like thunder on your sketch noting. So when you're sketch noting, emphasize what you're thinking. Bold letters, green letters, red, little tiny ones, little tiny prints, right? And so sketchnoting is expressing yourself through your voice. And then a gentle, soothing voice. Oh my gosh, it is like a warm blanket on a cold night. Absolutely awesome to have a gentle, soothing voice. When do we use that? Sometimes reading to children at night. Um, Sometimes it's just my late husband and I used to share a lot of our books together, and we would read one chapter, Scotty would read the other chapter. And it was like our voices were just this warm blanket, right? And so find a way to do that. So you have voices that you can sketch note on a napkin, a piece of paper, a chalkboard, we're on your computer if you know how to do that. So you have one that can fill the room. What does that look like? You have one that rumbles like thunder. What does that look like? Right? And then one that's a gentle, soothing voice. What does that look like? Put that down so you can see your voice. And that's what's called a sketch note. Okay, next. Okay, this is me. I'm saying goodbye. I love doing this type of workshop, and I am so honored that you all are taking your time to uh, uh, hear this in the recorded session. And so, Jay, I thank you very much for your guidance and your expertise. And I say goodbye. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ellington. We appreciate this very valuable information that you've shared with us. With that, this particular lead session has come to an end. So thank you very much, Dr. Ellington. And thank you to all of our attendees who are watching this recording and have given up your time to really expand your mind in some
Right.
incredible, incredible ways.
Right.
Dr. Ellington, if any of our attendees would like to follow up, would you like them to email student
Yeah.
involvement?
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Okay, so with that, then, anybody who does have a question for Dr. Ellington, please send them to connect@snhu.edu. And I'll spell that out CONNECT at SNHU.edu. Connect@snhu.edu. And we will make sure to relay all of those questions to Dr. Ellington.
That would be
With that,
cool.
yes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
So at this time, I am going to stop the recording. I am going to stop the sharing of the screen, and I am going to wish all of you a fantastic rest of your day. And we look forward to seeing you at our next leads session. Take care,
Awesome.
everybody. Bye
Thank you, Jay.
bye.
Bye.
Yeah. All right, and
That
we
was fun.
will. Yeah, you did a great job.
Oh, it's just fun.
Um, I need to stop the recording.
Oh,
No, it's all good. This part we will cut. Or we'll
okay.
just leave it in for
Uh,
bloopers. Whatever.
okay.